Representative Barnard and the committee. My name is Anne Marie Gurney, and I reside in Portland, Oregon, in the Portland Public School Districts. Representative Dembrow, who is the first to speak today, is my representative, and I have had a lot of personal contact with him over this bill, and he and I both know we disagree. Let me tell you my history. My kids are here today. They're the two cute ones in red in the front row that I'm really trying to keep them quiet, so bear with me.
They're doing fine.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. And how we came to choose Oregon Connections Academy, we just finished second grade. Our oldest son was in private school, and by the end of first grade, I'm going to keep this really short, had no first grade math skills. And we were at a crossroads. I knew that if he went to a public school, and I'll tell you why we came, what we looked at with our public school, he would come out of second grade with probably the same level. We have a neighbor who lives down the street from us. She is 1 year younger than my oldest, and I asked, after we had started Oregon Connections Academy this year, how's your school experience going? And she is in first grade. At the very beginning of the school year, her first grade class was merged with a kindergarten class with a class size of 35 students and one teacher and no assistants. And I just hurt physically for that poor teacher trying to teach kindergartners who should be starting to read at reading level and first graders who have started reading and trying to keep that going. And I asked, what's her daily experience like? What's it like? And her father told me very specifically, so a lot of times she's sitting with a worksheet by herself without guidance, without instruction, without another task to do. And I can tell, as good as my kids are doing right now, that is not the norm for them. They couldn't handle that, especially my oldest, who whatever we need to do something next. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that waste of time and the work ethic that it creates in children of just having to sit there and wait. And I didn't like that. So we continued with the Oregon Connections Academy. My son has just finished. He is at a 94% level with a 92% in second grade math. So he just made up 2 years of math in 1 year. Thank you to Oregon Connections Academy and his wonderful teacher who worked with me very much on how to get him to that point. And he's now going to start third grade on level, which I'm very proud of, and he should be too. And going back and speaking to Michael Dembrow, we've talked a little, I've heard a few people mention the conflicts of interest. Personally, when I talked to Mr. Dembrow, I think he might have a conflict of interest. His employment outside of being a state representative is he works for a union. His employer is a union, is a teachers union. And here he is sponsoring this bill for his employer. And I have real issues with him, and I've told him this personally, that he is not representing me. He's not representing his district. He's representing his employer. And I have a problem with that, unfortunately, and I don't know what else I can do about that. He and I also disagree very much on, I've told him the schools that are available to me in his district, and he thinks they're fine. I don't think they're fine. I don't want my kid in a 35-person classroom with one teacher and no teacher's assistant. The high school that's available to us is a red-listed high school. That's not good enough for me. I have one chance to educate my kid, and after that, it's a life sentence. If my kid goes through life with only a mediocre, red-listed sort of high school experience, it is now a life sentence. He will have a hard time finding a job. He will have a hard time getting into college. And I want my kid, when he graduates from high school, to be able to go get a job and compete in that workplace, or to go to college and be able to pass academic snuff. And I don't feel like I have that available to me. So even though I may not be one of those families that lives out in the rural districts, or we don't have the food allergies, we don't have the physical limitations, I feel like I do, because my choice in public education in the biggest city in this state doesn't offer me much at all. So when we found Oregon Connections Academy, I'm going to echo another parent, we looked at Oregon Connections Academy, looked at homeschooling, and I just about cried when I realized what responsibilities would be on me as a homeschooling person, and we couldn't do it. But when we found Oregon Connections Academy, I'm like, I can do that, because I want a teacher to drive this boat. You don't want me to drive this boat, because it's not going to work. So it has been a great experience, and again, I really do want to go back to what Christina has brought up, and I really don't think this is about education. And when you boil it down, I think it's about union sponsoring a bill. Really easy to see. If you look at the top of the bill, there's the representatives and several unions and lobbyist groups listed after that. If those people hadn't pushed this legislation here, we wouldn't be here today. We would be embracing charter schools. We would be embracing innovative learning. We would be looking as a new way to educate kids, not a new way to replace old ways, because the classroom setting definitely does work for many, many students. This is just another option, and it provides choice to parents. And thank you very much.